Last time, by Squeakers, Chapter 2, Reunion. Twilight was completely inconsolable. She had been crying for a little over an hour since Spike had given her the bad news. Twilight lay on the bathroom floor alone, occasionally hearing a knock on the door, but for someone trying to come to check in on her. After he broke the news, Twilight didn't know how to react. She bolted out of the study and into the bathroom, slamming the door shut and locking it behind her. Her forehead burned, but it was nothing compared to the weight she felt crushing her heart. Her mentor was dead, and Twilight never even got to say goodbye. For that time Twilight was a filly, newly enrolled at Celestia's school for gifted unicorns. Celestia had been there before her. She was more than just her mentor. She raised her for the most part of her life. Princess Celestia and Twilight shared a relationship only a mother and daughter could. Twilight could feel the emptiness that this world had been thrown in exerted. Celestia's magic had permeated the world as she remembered. Every plant, animal, breath, they all shared the warmth of Celestia's magic from her radiant sun. All that magic was gone now. There she lay, alone, tears relentlessly streaming down her cheeks. All her feelings of confidence, pride, and happiness were replaced by sadness, pain, and loneliness. Rarity gently rapped on the door, placed her ear, awaiting a response from her distraught friend. She could no longer hear the relentless torrents of tears and sobs that had echoed around the library earlier. But she did hear the occasional sniffle that let her know her friend was, to put it bluntly, still alive. Twilight, I know how hard this is, Rarity showed you, but I... No, you don't! Twilight shouted through the door. Celestia meant more to me than you think. She wasn't just my teacher. She was like my mother. Twilight bit her lip, slowly realizing who she was talking to. An uneasy silence befell the two ponies for what felt like an eternity. Tears started to well up in Rarity's eyes. Mother. Rarity lay down at the foot of her bed, with Sleepy Bell wrapped up in her hose, gently rocking her. The first rays of the morning began to pierce through the dark gray clouds outside. It was utterly quiet except for the ticking of a regal grandfather clock that echoed all around the small bedroom. Each second seemed to pass ever slowly with each tuck. Tuck! The anxiety filled the room as nauseating as the pendulum teetered ever closer to the way it would swing, but nothing seemed to change its apex. Tick! The decorations on the face of the clock made it look like it was enjoying their pain, mocking them with each second that slipped away. Tuck! Each sound seemed to reverberate around the room for minutes on end. The face contorted to laugh at their suffering. Tick! Mary, is Mommy going to be okay? Sweetbell asked. Try not to think about it. The doctors are taking care of her. Betty did her best to try and comfort her little sister. They would do whatever they can. She brought her sister in close to embrace her, and she started to tear up. Suddenly, several voices could be heard coming up the hallway, stopping in front of Rarity's door. She could hear them discussing, but couldn't make out what they were saying. Rarity gripped her sister tightly, the anticipation numbing her mind. An doorknob began to twist slowly, until the door hung loosely on its hinges for a moment. Slowly creaked open, as an old tan stallion with a flat gray mane walked in. He was wearing a white coat and thick rimmed glasses. He looked down at the two young ponies who sat shivering on the bed, cussing each other as if it was the most frightening thing he had ever seen. He pursed his lips and began to walk over the bed, taking his seat at the edge near them.
Girls,
He said, removing his glasses.
we did everything we could, but she doesn't have much time left. Maybe a few minutes if we are lucky.
With his free hoof, he wiped the wetness from his eyes.
She wishes to see you.
Both Rarity and Sleepybell got up quickly, tears pouring out of their eyes. Just before Sleepybell was about to take off towards the room her mother was in, Rarity reached out and took her hoof. Sleepybell, she said between her sobs, we have to be strong. This this may be the last time we will talk to her. Rarity leaned down to Sleepybell's level and whispered to her ears. Don't hold anything back. They both turned back to the doctor, who had already gotten up, and was waiting at the door to lead the two feelies to their mother. Rarity looked into his eyes through her blurry vision and gave him a weak nod. He reached himself out to guide the two feelies as they walked to get in front of him. The hallway to the room had never seemed so large. They lived in a modest home, far from luxury, but cozy on its own. Today, however, the walk down the hallway had been the longest walk of their lives. The walls appeared to tower above them, while the door at the end of the hallway seemed to be hundreds of yards away. The walk dragged on. With each step, the horse seemed to shrink down further upon the horizon. It was utterly quiet. Even the sounds of the sobbing had been drowned by a hum of silence. Rarity had reached the sharp side of the door, reached her hoof out when suddenly the door opened up. Tuck. Twilight was standing in the open doorway, tears flooding her eyes. She looked deep into Rarity's eyes as she started to break down. "I'm so sorry," she cried as she rushed to hug her friend. I I didn't mean that. I should have said that," she said between her heavy sobs. "I know what you've been through. I'm so sorry." "Shh. It's okay," Rarity said as he ran her head through Twilight's mane. "All is forgiven." She put her hose on Twilight's shoulders to break the hug for a second. As she looked into Twilight's eyes, she gave her a strong smile. "Everything is going to be okay." Twilight stopped sobbing as she wiped away tears from her eyes. She gave Rarity a nod and reached back over to give her one last hug. "Thank you, Rarity," she said with a smile. Just then, downstairs, the door opened up. Spike came rushing in, brushing the snow off his coat. "Hey, guys! Piggy's on her way. Has AJ come back yet?" he called up. "Around here, Spike," Elmsett called out from the study. She went to the door to speak more clearly to Spike. "Fluttershy's will be back with Rainbow Layas any minute now." "She got back shortly after you left," Rarity called out from the top of the staircase. Twilight walked uneasily out of the bathroom as she looked around. "AJ's here? When did... Why didn't he come and say hi?" "Well, you were locked up in that bathroom crying your eyes out, and, well, you know I ain't good with all that mischief stuff," Applejack said bluntly. Rarity gave her a stern look. "What she means to say is that she would rather not disturb you while you were grieving." "Well, I'm glad to see you got that out of your system," she interrupted again. "When I first got here, you were knocked out, cold, so to speak. But after I went and got the Fluttershy, you were crying your eyes out. It's good to finally be able to talk to you again after 14 years." Twilight bit her lips. She came up with words to say. "It's all my fault. All the pain I must have caused you." Once again, Twilight could feel the pain in her head flare up again. "If I hadn't tried to do that spell, none of this would have happened." "Well, now, Twilight, that's a lot of blame to put on any one opponent's shoulders," Applejack interjected. "Shoot, we sure don't blame you for what happened. I'm just sure we'll be glad that you're back with us again." Applejack rushed over to give her friend the hug she missed the first time she came over. "It sure is good to see you again." Twilight was swept up and spun around in Applejack's embrace. The farm pony's strength was evident as he effortlessly toyed with her like a rag doll. The hug itself wasn't very painful, but the spinning had made her swarm with pain, strong enough for her to let out an audible yelp. Applejack quickly stopped, carefully setting down Twilight. "Oops! Sorry, Twilight. Oh, I guess it just got a little carried away." Applejack kept her hoof on Twilight's shoulder to help stabilize her. Twilight didn't respond. Her mind was elsewhere. She tried to concentrate through the pain and remember what had happened during her spell, but more importantly, what she did wrong. The whole event was a blur. None of her memories are clear, but instead, what resembled was trying to look through a fogged glass. Why did the spell go wrong? I'm sure I did everything right, she thought. All I can remember is the glowing. Then... Twilight put a hoof to her forehead and winced in pain. There was an explosion, colorful like a... Suddenly, there came a rapping at the door, followed by a familiar raspy voice. "Spike, this better be important. I'm pretty busy, you know." Spike motioned for Twilight and Rarity to hide as he reached the door. "Coming!" Applejack rushed down the stairs towards Spike, as Twilight and Rarity both dug into the bathroom, closing the door, but leaving enough space where they could peek out of. Once every pony was in place, Spike reached for the doorknob. As soon as he gave it a turn, the door swung open, knocking Spike onto the floor. "All right, what's the big idea interrupting one of my training sessions?" Rainbow Dash blurted out. She was still in her Wonderbolt's uniform, and her rainbow mane was slicked back. Twilight thought for a moment that it was that way because of the high speeds the Wonderbolts often exhibited. But Rarity knew instantly it had been only that way due to a lot of product. She was unnecessarily proud and confident. Not that she hadn't acted that way before, but this time she earned the right to be proud. A moment after Rainbow Dash finished her outburst, a very yellow Pegasus timidly walked in.
Is there something you want to tell us, Spike? You don't mind me asking.
She bubbled up. Same old Fluttershy, Twilight thought as she rolled her eyes. You have to wait for Pinky, but I have some serious news to tell you. Spike looked up, barely able to prevent himself from blurring it out, but everybody could tell by his excitement it was good news. After several agonizing moments, there finally came a knock on the door. Spike rushed over and opened it up, revealing a pink pony. However, even though this pony looked like Pinkie Pie right down to the cutie mark, that was where the similarities ended. This doppelganger wasn't quite pastel pink like her friend, but she was more of a dullest, grayest pink. Her mane and tail fell flat and straight, and her eyes were red, the sign of fresh tears. She was thin and sickly looking, and she walked low to the ground. This pony was not Pinkie Pie, or rather, not the same Pinkie Pie that Twilight and Rarity left back in their own time. Pinkamena, you made it! Spike said. I know today is a sad day for you, but we have some good news. Would you like to hear it? He talked to her like he was talking to an infant, but there was a feeling in his voice. Instead, like he was talking to a mental patient. Pinkamena just dropped her head and shrugged, but she didn't make a sound. Come here and sit, Spike said as he led her by the arm over to a seat in the living quarters of the library. In fact, everyone gather around. You might want to sit for this because there's some pretty serious news. Spike waited a moment for everyone to get situated. Upset having already heard the news, remained standing where she was. Fluttershy fled over to sit next to Pinkamena. Rainbow Dash remained hovering behind the couch. She had removed the hood of her Wonderbolt's uniform, leaving it to dangle behind her neck. Every pony, as you all know, today is the 15th anniversary of Twilight and Rarity's disappearance. Everyone dropped their head in sadness as they gave their friends a moment of silence. But today, something wonderful's happened, he continued. No longer will go ahead to grieve for their disappearance. There's no way to explain what's going on, so instead I'll show you. Spike paused for a moment, a scout where the girls had hidden. Girls, you can come out now. Now hold up! Rainbow Dash burst out. 15 years, and you think Adios owes to all our grieving is to replace them? Both Pinky and Fluttershy let out a look of disgust. How dare you even... Suddenly, Rainbow Dash's jaw hung low, as her eyes drifted up to the two ponies standing on the balcony. Pinkamena and Fluttershy stared in confusion at Rainbow Dash's sudden stop. Slowly, they followed her eyes to the stairs, and at their two long-lost friends were now scaling. Fluttershy drew back in shock, while Pinkamena squinted to focus on them. Rainbow Dash bolted from her spot at breakneck speeds, stopping short of two unicorns. The motion was practically instantaneous, as if she somehow learned, even more miraculously, before Twilight's teleportation spell. She dropped down to the stairs and wrapped her hose around both her friends. Tears streamed from her face as she tried to come up with words to say. Then, a familiar presence fluttered her way next to the group and wrapped her hose around them as well. Fluttershy let out a heavy sigh of relief. Owlcheck made her way over to the group, and too wrapped her hose around as far as they could go, followed shortly by Spike. In one of the most loving embraces the group had ever shared, if not for one thing. Pinkamena never got up from the couch. Instead, she stood there, squinting angrily at the group. Gritted teeth as she watched their happiness continue to mock her. Spike reached his hand out towards Pinkamena and fired her to the group. What are you waiting for, Pinky? An invitation? He joked. Pinkamena's eyes dilated as her whole body gave a violent twitch. She stood up quickly and headed for the door.
You think I'm a fool? She stammered. Let's all trick Pinkie Pie to false happiness again. She loves jokes. Well, know this. I'm not a fool. Twilight and Rarity are dead, and nothing will ever bring them back.
She opened up the door, stormed out of the library, slamming the door shut. Several pictures and trinkets nearby were knocked off the walls and shelves by the force. It had been an almost whole hour searching, and there was no sign of Pinkamena. The first place anyone thought to look for was Sugar Cube Corner, but no sign of her there. They all split up after that, but no pony had seen any sign of her. Twilight walked down the snow-trodden path back to the library from her unsuccessful trip to the mayor's office, bracing with every gust of wind. However, despite the bareness of the chill, the cold wind was soothing on Twilight's forehead. As Twilight walked, she noticed something awful about Ponyville. All around the market there were ponies going about their midday affairs. Down by the cafe, now remodeled to exclusively an indoor restaurant, she could see the ponies enjoying light meals. The shops were open and bustling, and the post office was buzzing with activity. Twilight expected most places would become accustomed to continuous weather and eventually carry on with their lives. But what struck the whole situation odd was that it was night. The moon was hanging larger than ever directly overhead through the open pass of the clouds, creating a ghastly glow across the snow. As Twilight's eyes traced the horizon, she noticed, off in the distance away from the town, Gray's figure silhouetted by the moonlight. The figure looked back and then darted off. Twilight gave chase after her, fighting to keep up against the wind and snow that buffeted her with every step, but no avail. The figure was just too fast. It slid off into the distance, hidden by the increasingly thickening blizzard. Twilight looked around, but Ponyville had disappeared from sight. She couldn't even see 5 yards in front of her, let alone any features to help her find her way back. Even her hoof prints disappeared beneath the constant flurry of snow. Flurry hard cut it out. Phew! Help! Twilight screamed out, but against the howl of the wind, even she could not hear her own voice. She was lost, scared, and alone. She huddled down into the snow as she frantically tried to come up with a way out of her situation. I know, she thought. I'll teleport back to the library. She concentrated on new details so she could remember the library, began to focus her magic into a tunnel of sorts. Almost as soon as she was able to create enough energy to manifest her magic, a spark exploded from her horn, knocking her back into the snow. Twilight opened her eyes to see that her vision had blurred from her disorientation. Horn flared up, glowing with arcane fire as she witnessed the depressor in her head. Even though she was still lost, Twilight was extremely lucky. The cold wind was enough to keep Twilight's horn from overheating, potentially causing her serious damage. Giving off was enough to keep her from freezing in the blizzard. It created some temporary bubble around Twilight that, while not comfortable, was survivable. I guess I can't use my magic, she pondered. My only chance is to wait it out. Twilight had sat in the wet patch of grass that she created with her heat, lowered her head down. She felt utterly exhausted from her attempt at magic. Her eyelids slowly fluttered closed. Just before she could shut, she saw a great fake hooves step in front of her. Twilight opened her eyes to find she was inside a shack, hastily built, but sturdy enough to protect its inhabitants from the elements. She could hear the howl of the wind coming from outside. Twilight looked around the room to see it was decorated with old party supplies. Tattered streamers hung from the ceiling, deflated by balloons that lay on the cloud around the shack. A table was in the center of the party cups, and plates set for 3. One of the chairs sat the doll in the shape of a pony. Twilight rose up and walked over to get a better view at it. It was made with white fabric turned gray, stained brown with age. Its mane and tail were made out of purple yarn, and on its head was a unicorn horn. Twilight lifted it off the seat to inspect it closer. She noticed on the flank were 3 blue diamonds for a cutie mark. Is this Rarity? She put to herself. Before she could investigate further, just off the next room, Twilight could hear a voice speaking in muffled whispers. No, she isn't. She isn't real Twilight. You are. You're the real Twilight. The voice sounded frantic. But she tries to hurt me. There was a long pause. Twilight could hear some incoherent mumbles. She set the doll back where she got it and moved in closer to find out what she was saying. Okay, if you think so, then I trust you, the voice said sternly. I'll keep my eye on her to make sure she doesn't try anything funny. Twilight gave a light knock on the door. On the other side, she could hear the pony on the other side jump out quickly. Hello? I just wanted to say thank you for rescuing me. Twilight waited and listened, but she didn't get a response. Just as Twilight turned to walk back to the couch, and as she woke up on, the door swung open, revealing a pink mare with straight hair. Oh, Pinky, it's you. Twilight stumbled over her words. We were looking for you, and... My name is Pinkamena. She quickly interrupted as she gave Twilight a sneer. She walked up face to face with Twilight. Don't get too comfortable. Twilight may trust you, but I don't. I keep my eyes on you. Pinkamena turned quickly, moving her hair across Twilight's face. Twilight was more confused and annoyed at her friend's behavior. But, she mumbled out as her friend disappeared into the darkness of the room she came out of. Twilight had no words to say to her friend. She was unprepared for how Pinkamena reacted to her presence. Twilight knew Pinky had gone crazy. She wasn't oblivious, but no point explained to her what made her that way. Pinkamena returned to the doorway, clutching a lavender doll with dark purple and pink yarn for a mane and tail. As she gave Twilight a cold stare, she walked over to the table. She pulled out one of the empty chairs, carefully placing the doll into it and pushing the chair in. Curiously, she leaned over, holding her hair away from her ear, as if the doll had a secret to tell her. After a few seconds, she got outside and looked over to Twilight.
We were just about to celebrate the day of my friend's return when Twilight said I should invite you.
Pinkamena said through clenched teeth. It was the prospect of being a guest in such a strange-inspired arc to Twilight. She couldn't refuse the opportunity to try and communicate with Pinkamena. She walked over to the only unset place at the table, directly from across where Pinkamena was now sitting. The two stared at each other for several minutes. Then the dolls seemed to be enjoying their time more than Twilight and Pinkamena. So, Twilight awkwardly said, trying to break the silence, what's the occasion? I know you said your friends has returned, but what do you mean by that? Pinkamena's face remained locked onto Twilight as he began.
Well, 15 years ago, two of my friends died. I was really upset and never wanted to throw a party again. Then all my old so-called friends thought it would be funny to try to trick me into thinking they had come back by giving me these dolls.
She let out a loud grunt and contorted her face to a sneer.
And they got stupid. I was so heartbroken, but then something happened.
Pinkamena twisted her face into a grim smile.
Twilight and Rarity came back to me. Well, not entirely. Their souls are in the dolls. Now I get the last laugh. I get Twilight and Rarity all to myself. I call this one Belle and this one Rarity.
Twilight couldn't stand to see her friend so disillusional. Tears started to trickle down her cheeks. It's me, Pinky! She screamed as she raced across the table to grab the pink pony by the shoulders, knocking over cousin plates in the process. She began to shake her violently. Please, Pinky, snap out of it. It's your friend. It's me, Twilight! Suddenly, Twilight was struck across the cheek. The force of the impact sent her tumbling over the side of the table, knocking the chair and holding the Twilight doll over. She sat up quickly, rubbing the bruised cheek with a hoof. Pinkamena was now standing over her, hooves up, panting heavily. Her eyes were completely glossed over, her pupils dilated. I sat there for what seemed like an eternity as her friend continued to soullessly stare at her. She was much too afraid to move from that spot. Without warning, Pinky dropped rapidly down towards her, causing her to set her eyes tight and brace for impact. Twilight waited a moment, but the second strike never came. She slowly opened one eye to see what had happened. Pinkamena was inches away from her, clutching the Twilight doll. Her eyes were filled with tears as she embraced the doll, rocking it gently.
I'm so sorry, Twilight,
she sobbed to the doll.
I lost control.
She lowered her head, pressed the doll against her cheek, lifted herself up, and rushed over to pick up the Rarity doll. Holding both of the dolls in one hoof, she got out to the room she came out of, slowly stopping in the doorway. She paused for a second and turned to face Twilight.
As soon as the storm's let us up enough, I want you to leave,
she said through her sniffling. With that, she returned to the darkness. Hey guys, give me a break when I torture Pinky. I never did this. The moon began to shine through the gaseous clouds into the window of the library. Rarity was waiting impatiently to go searching for Twilight. All the ponies had immediately regretted sending her off alone, realized Twilight was taking too long to return. Shoot, we shouldn't even let her go in the first place, Upset said. It's basically not a very good lesson. The first one evil dogs comes back with that weather report. We could go out and search for her. Rarity is trying to offer us a little comfort. Besides, Twilight is a smart girl. I'm sure she found shelter before the storm got too serious. Well, you got a point. So ain't going to worry about me worrying about that girl, though. I know, AJ, and I'll play with you. Suddenly there was a knock on the door, followed by somebody letting themselves in. Oh, that must be Rainbow Dash now. Rarity started getting up, going to greet the guests. To her surprise, standing in the doorway was not Rainbow Dash, but a certain lavender unicorn.
Good heavens, Twilight!
She gasped.
What in the equestrian were you? We were so concerned that you might have gotten lost in the blizzard.
Rarity paused for a moment, then eyed Twilight's face.
What in Celestia's name happened to your face?
Twilight placed a hoof to cover her bruise. Oh, this? It's nothing, I just tripped. She lied. I would have been worse off, but Pinky saved me. You found her? Both Applejack and Rarity blurted out. Twilight put a hoof to alert them she wasn't finished. Yes, and she is safe for the most part. But I need to ask you a few questions, Applejack. Rarity could tell Twilight needed her privacy, so she returned up to the stairs to spend some time with her fireside by study. After Twilight could tell Rarity was out of earshot, she turned up to Applejack, giving her a stern look. Applejack, I know a lot has changed since we left you, but there's something seriously wrong with Pinky. Can you please tell me what happened to her? Applejack let out a heavy sigh. I never thought Pinky would react like she did to tell you went missing. Applejack took a seat on the couch. When you left, she cried non-stop. Nothing we could do could comfort her. She knew we were going to find y'all. After about a month, he had gone missing too. We searched for her, but we couldn't find her. At least until... Applejack paused. Until what? We heard screams coming from our house. We came in and found Barry Punch tied up on a chair. Her mane and tail was straw to look like yours, Twilight. Poor girl was frightened but unharmed. Said Pinky had done it. Twilight was shocked. Why didn't anyone tell me this? I was out there trapped with her. Twilight leaned forward, gripped Twilight Applejack by the shoulders. I could have died. Twilight, it was a long time ago. Applejack interrupted. We ain't proud of her for what she's done. We ain't mad at her either. What's this, Pony POV? Where are the psychologists? Applejack took control of the striped unicorn and sat her down on the couch. Twilight, she's paid her dues. Been in and out of that hospital more times than I can count. Twilight lowered her head, feeling guilty for accusing Pinky of being capable of murdering her. Applejack lowered herself and put a thumb under Twilight's chin, slowly raising it until their eyes met. She only wanted you all back, that's all. Applejack took a moment to allow Twilight to regain her composure. But even though I wish that was the end of it, the story ain't through yet. She spent 10 years in and out of Psycho What's-It-Care. Once she was released, we all wanted to give her something to smile about. First I made 2 dolls that looked like y'all for her for some sort of welcome home present. We didn't mean her no harm, but Pinky certainly didn't see it that way. She ran off rambling and crying about something we couldn't get her to calm down. She don't like to see us often anymore. If anything, we thought you guys could fix her back up. Twilight only let out a deep sigh of sadness. She knew that whatever she had done only helped to make things worse. Well, there is one thing I wanted to ask. Twilight asked in an attempt to change the subject. Why hasn't the sun come up yet? I mean, it's been several hours and the moon hasn't moved an inch. Twilight's mind was only able to give one reason for it. I'm sure Princess Luna would be able to handle it this long without... Twilight paused, unable to see the words on her tongue. Well, life's a little complicated. I don't know what what happened, but Celestia left. The sun did too. Applejack began to explain. Princess Luna said it just vanished. So you don't move the moon because it's the only source of light we have left. Don't do as much good about the cold, though. Twilight walked towards the window to observe the heavenly body. Its haunting beauty sent chills down her spine. The clouds that covered most of the sky were kept away from the intruding light by several Pegasus ponies. Twilight got so lost in thought about the moon and the princesses, didn't notice the darkness forming inside her. Twilight? Twilight sat for a daydream and noticed a small dark purple cloud swarm next to her. The sadness started to reel back. What is that? She sighed. The cloud grew lighter in color, sparkled like starlight. Much like Nightmare Moon's mane had. As the story became more intense, it seemed to focus itself into the center. Till it burst into a splash of sparkles, revealing a small scroll. The ribbon that sealed it was dark blue. At the center of the knot, there was a moon insignia fastened to it. Twilight reached down and grabbed the scroll and slowly unwound it. Well, what does it say? Applejack impatiently. Dear Twilight Sparkle, she began to read aloud. It's for me, she said, shocked. Been 15 years since you left, and much has changed. Princess Celestia prophesied before her passing that on this day you would return, and asked to pass on a message to you. I must request you a meeting an audience with you as soon as possible. Signed, Princess Luna.